Hey everybody, this is Games Plus James and welcome back to our 2D Unity tutorial series where we're taking a look at all the basic elements you need to go out and make your own awesome game of platformy goodness. So today we're going to take a look at adding a live system to the game so your player can lose lives and you get a game over, and also so you can pick up some extra lives as you wander around your level. So what we're going to have to do is, first of all, we need to have something on the screen to demonstrate how many lives the player has. So we have our canvas system here for shows our score and our health, and we should make use of that again to show our lives. Rather than just having like a little thing saying lives here in the corner and then how many lives you have, we'll make it a little bit more interesting. But first, we're going to just do a couple of little changes to the canvas we already have. I'm just going to rename this to main HUD, and HUD stands for heads up display. That's basically what you call this whole stuff that you see on the screen around you. And I'm going to grab these guys and put them into little objects so we can easily keep track of them all. So I'm going to create an empty object, drag it over here, and we'll call this a score system, and we'll create another empty object here, and we'll call this the health system. And so we'll just drag these items into the help system, and we'll drag these ones into the score system. If we can manage to drag them, we'll be okay. There we go. And we want to make sure that these align into the right places as well. So we actually have this still on the debug view. Turn to the normal view. So we have our score system. Because we created the score system as a game object outside of the UI, it actually doesn't show up the options we need. So actually we shouldn't do that. So we'll drag these back up to the main HUD level, and we'll delete the score system. And what you have to do is right click on main HUD and create an empty, and that will create an object within that, and it will create these the positional stuff you need for the UI. So we'll just score system again, and again we'll just drag these guys back in like that. And then we want to make sure they are aligned to the right places. So we had these guys aligned up to the top left. So we want to make sure the score system stays up in the top left. Otherwise, for example, we have the score system. We've just set that back to the top left. If we make this bigger, our score is set up there, but we didn't change the health. So now the health is just being dragged down to a position that we don't want it in. So we'll do the exact same thing up here. Now he's aligned up to the top left corner. So we'll create one more object for our life system. So we'll call this life system, and again we'll align this into the bottom left corner. Perfect. So now we need to add some things to our life system to make it more interesting. So we're going to go to our game object up here and UI, and we're going to add an image. We'll drag that image into the life system, and we're going to game object UI, and we're going to add text, and we'll add the text into the life system as well. So our image, we're going to use just an image of the player, because that's the easiest way to show that it's representing kind of how many lives you have. So we'll go to our source image thing over here. We could drag it from the art into there, but we'll just do this way of doing it. Click on the little circle, find our player, and we'll X out of that, and now you can see it's a big massive giant one. We don't really want that. We will click preserve aspect here, and we'll zoom out so we can see our whole canvas. And obviously that player is way too big. We don't want to do that. Click set native. No, that's not. We want to just resize it basically. So we'll just grab this, and we'll just grab the corner down to a size that looks kind of relatively right. And we know that the character is 16 by 16 pixels. So why don't we just create the width and height to be that? So 16 by 16. So there we go. Now he's a tiny looking little character in the corner. And if we maximize the screen, he stays down in the corner because we aligned the life system down to the bottom left like that. So that's perfect. So now we've got our image, and we've got him roughly in the right position. He can stay around about there, but we have to make this text look useful as well. So we will make this bright white, and instead of text, just as a placeholder, we'll just say X3, just so we know roughly what our lives are going to look like. So we will grab the text and we'll just position that around about there, so that it looks okay down here in the screen. And if we maximize it, Again, you can see it down the corner. Of course, you can change the size of it to whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with, but I think that works okay. So now, if we hit play, obviously this isn't going to do anything exciting for us, because at the moment it's just a number and it doesn't do anything. We kill our player, nothing happens, of course. But it looks good. I think it works nicely down there in the corner, so we're happy with that. We'll move on to actually making the script that we need to use for this. So we'll go into our scripts folder, we'll create a new script, create C#, and we'll call this Life Manager. Hit that, and then we'll open that up in our mono develop. And once it's loaded up here, here we go. Okay, so there's a few things that we're going to need for this. We're going to need how many lives you start off with. So we'll say public int starting lives, and we're going to use a private int to keep track of how many lives we have. So we'll call this private int life counter. So starting lives will be how many lives we start off with, and then life counter will be the value that we modify to show up on the screen. And then we're going to need a private actually, before we do that, we have to make sure we're using the UI system from Unity. So up here we have to go using Unity engine.ui. Perfect. So now we'll go back down here. We'll say private text, and then small text, small t text. Then, actually, just to make it more stand out, we'll call it the text. So we're creating a text object, and we're calling it the text. And then in the start function, what we're going to do is go the text is equal to get component text, I believe. Yes. So that will find the text on the object, and it will assign it to that, and then we can we'll be able to modify that value with our starting lives and our life counter. And also in the start function, we want to make sure that the life counter is equal to the starting lives. Oh, no, not start, is equal to starting lives. There we go. So now basically we're going to just make it very simply show up how many lives we have. So we'll just go the text dot text, so that's getting the text within the text object. The text is equal to and we had x and a space, and then plus the value that we're wanting to use, which is our life counter. So now we'll save that. That's not saved, and we'll pop back into the game, and we're just going to add that to our text object here of our life system. We don't want to add it to the life system here because there's no text object attached to that. We want to go to the text object specifically, so we want to add the component here, life manager. And as we can see, we've got an error because I typed a small g instead of a capital G. There we go. You always want to be careful with your capitals when you're coding stuff. So now we just wait for that to compile. What's the error? Oh, because look, we're not searching for a component of the text, we're just searching for a component text. There we go. That was the little issue we were having there. Oh, that was a silly one. So now it should compile all okay. There's no more errors. So it's important to always check and make sure your code is accurate. So now we've got a life manager and we've got our starting lives. We won't set it to 3 just as an example. We set it to say 5. So now just make sure that's working. We'll hit play, and our little life counter thing in the corner here should yep, there we go. It changes to 5. That's perfect. But obviously at the moment that's not we're not able to change that yet. So what we're going to do is add 2 little functions to our system here. So we're going to say public void give life, and we're going to do another one of public void take life. So these 2 functions are what we'll use to call from other scripts to call on here, and this is what will either add lives or take them away. So give life will be the only code that'll be in it will be just life counter plus plus. So what that does is just increments life counter by 1. So if you have 5 lives, it'll change it to 6 or whatever. And then we'll do the exact opposite for take life. Take life will just be life counter minus minus, because you're not going to be in a situation where something's going to take away 2 lives or something's going to add 2 lives. If